Hello everyone, Porky here, back with another umamusume video. So Kitasan Black is coming in just over an hour from now. And there has been a lot of discussion about pulling her, getting the SR cards to higher limit breaks. Like I've talked about this before, so let's not cover too much on that. What I did want to talk about is there's been quite a few comments talking about, whether you should restart your account, whether you should re-roll, especially if you are nowhere close to like pulling 200 pulls on Kitasan Black's banner. And there's quite a lot of discussion about it. And I wanted to address this as well because a lot of us have spent a lot of time and effort grinding our accounts, right? Like, going to my archive here, uh, like my trainer notes, like I built up a lot of fans, did a lot of runs on my account. Like, I'll just go to my profile here. Like, how many runs have I done? 133 runs, right? 133 runs. And basically, if we say like each run is like 2 runs takes an hour. That is like what, 65? 65 hours of my time playing umamusume, right? I spent so much time grinding out the game. A lot of you would have put in like, tens, maybe even hundreds of hours. I doubt you'll put hundreds of hours already. But yeah, probably looking at like 50 hours or more, spending all your time grinding your account, collecting all the trophies. I know I haven't really farmed that many trophies. I'm definitely on the lower end for the trophies. And it does feel like, a waste if we decide to re-roll account because, we spent the gems like pulling for the wrong banners. And, after pulling the banners, we didn't hit that 200. So like the clovers just turned into this clover exchange, which this shop is it's just pitiful, right? And you might just end up, you might have like a few support cards here and there, some nice ume. Like, for example, I did whale on this account. So I do have a lot of SSR support cards, but they're all very spread out, right? You can see the only high limit break is this event one, and then we got Majuro McQueen from like the guild one and the club one, right? So they're very, very spread out, all limit break 0. And I mean, limit break 1 here for special week, but it's a guts, so nobody cares too much about that. And just having all these cards spread out doesn't really help me. Like, when I'm building my deck, right? I usually try and like follow this sort of mini guide on like what cards to use in my deck. And you can see that, not all the time we'll be using, all stamina cards or power cards or like wit cards, but speed is always on there. And Kitasan Black being a speed card means that essentially we'll pretty much always be using her as a max limit break card because even when the Japanese version comes out like with the newer versions, there's a high chance that we wouldn't be able to get any other cards at max limit break. So Kitasan Black will still be in your deck for a very long time. And having such a high limit break, you'll be like, what is at the actual point of it? Like, you might think, oh, I need high limit break because, like, you want to do PvP. That's more of a minor thing. You want to have high limit break cards to really even play the game, right? Because we do have the legend races, which can be tough for some people. There is a stat gap. This is a gacha game. It's got a power creep. Like, everything is going to become harder. So, for example, currently we're in the first career scenario, right? And in the next scenario, there's going to be even more stats. Like the stat cap for us at the moment, like this is the grand line. That's a more recent scenario. The next scenario we'll be getting is the our high scenario. And for this scenario, like, the cap has gone higher. And what does that mean to us? It means that the career is going to be harder. There's going to be a gap. You need to farm your ume to become like high in these stats. Like, you know, for example, at the moment, even with the Ume I have been farming, I haven't really been able to like push through to like, you know, for example, the A plus rank, right? We're descending, right? The only highest I've been able to get is Sakura Bakushino. And she's what, capped in 2 stats, and then this is pretty much almost 600. So like it's solid stats. It's not really good for any mode at the moment because like in our current Ura career, we get an extra 400 in each stat as like a it's basically like our training wheels in order for us to really like keep up and not really invest that much into stats. But with the new scenarios coming out, the stats are going to be more important. Like in the reference doc, that there was this example about some guy trying to farm all these like high S. So this was back in the Ura days, so this is essentially their first year. Japan's first year playing the game, and they were pushing at these S ranks. And pushing at the S ranks meant that they basically needed 3 stats, you know, at cap. And eventually the careers will be hard enough that we do need high stats to be able to complete the careers even. Like currently, you know, beating the careers isn't too hard with any of our Ume at the moment. I'm sure sometimes you do get bad RNG, or if you're not using good legacy Ume, you might still struggle because you're not really getting those extra stats from like a 9-star Ume, for example. Like, who do I have at 9-star? I think this Oguri Cap that's 8-star. So where is my 9-star Oguri Cap? I think it's this one. The 9-star Oguri Cap. I found it. So yeah, it just gives you so much bonus stats in your run, which just makes a lot of difference when you're training up new Ume. You can push all the stats up to even higher, making the run more smoother, more chance for you to get more sparks. And eventually, I was looking at like some of this JP versions. Look at their stats. They're like 1,800, 1,300, and like 900 in all the other stats. And eventually, we do have to get to this level. And to get to this level, we do need higher limit break cards. We need to focus our support cards. Like we need to get like Kitasan Black or borrow a Kitasan Black in order to really get those high stats, as well as getting high limit break SRs as well, max limit break. So the analogy I've used here is currently with the cards that we're using, the support cards that we're using, it's like, you know, we're playing with a bicycle on a road. The road's flat, smooth, straight, that there isn't really that much difficulty on the road, right? But eventually, they're going to be like up hills, hilly roads, mountains, that you're just using a standard bicycle to ride through. Like maybe it's a tricycle. You still have training wheels on. We still have training wheels on at the moment. And it's going to increase slowly in difficulty. And we need our vehicle to catch up. We need our support cards to catch up. So essentially what Kitasan Black and all the other maximum break support cards are going to help us do is make improvements on our bike. It's going to turn our bike into a car. So like we will be able to zoom over those hills, those mountainous roads, and it's just going to make our lives easier, and it's going to make the game more fun because you're going to hit those stat gaps. So that the stat checks, right? Because you know that there's minimum stats for each sort of distance and track. Like going back to this guideline, like for us to hit this stat, these are sort of minimum stats for like these distances, it's a bit difficult. Like for me to hit all of these, I do have to really tailor my stats, and there isn't that much to spare. Like after I hit all these minimum, like I don't really have anywhere else to push. Like if I have a bad run, bad RNG, there's a high chance I wouldn't be able to even hit these minimums if I don't have good support cards or good legacy Umes. And having Kitasan Black or having high limb break SRs is just going to really help you do this. So while not getting Kitasan Black is still okay, but it's just going to handicap your account. You will need to always borrow it. You can still use like the cards you have, but if you didn't really focus that much into a single banner, it means that your focus is going to be split up. Like I only can use, 5 cards in my deck, but I already got what? 12, 13 SSRs. I can't use them together. Like, what are the chances I'll use 3 stamina cards or like 4? I got like 4 stamina SSRs here. At most, I'll probably be using only like 2 or 3, right? And the one is essentially like useless for me. And yeah, that's what I just really wanted to go out. Like, definitely, it's the loss of progress on the account is going to be tough, but it's going to make a smoother journey moving forward. When we get the newer scenarios, when we get the more harder stages for, we do have the legacy races and then more events coming up where having more stats is just going to really help you push your account. And you want to also hit the 600 minimum, because the 600 minimum in the stat can give you a chance at the 3-star spark as well, making a good legacy Ume. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say for today. Kitasan Black is less than an hour, so I'm going to pull for her and see how I go. I hope that's helped you out, sort of understand why we're pushing for this, because yeah, the game just gets harder. The game gets harder, there's power creep, and we need to keep up with power creep, and getting Kitasan Black is just going to help us push at those power creeps, and eventually, we'll reach this stage where we can get all these high stats for our Ume. I'll see you guys next time.